its entirety. We are now joined by Peter Njuguna, the acting CEO of the Sacco Savings Regulatory Authority, commonly known to you as SASRA. Thanks for coming on the show, Mr. Njuguna. Walk us through the new regulations and what impact this will have to the Sacco business.
Thank you very much for having me. The new regulations, Sacco Societies and Deposit Taking Regulations 2020, mark a new second key milestone in the implementation of Sacco Societies Act. The first one having been the regulation, or rather prudential regulation, of SACCOs that do deposit-taking business. That means they can take demand deposits and offer payment channels just like banks can do. And now these new regulations, 2020, incidentally, those first regulations were done in 2010. Now we have the regulations 2020, ushering in the next phase of Sacco societies that do not operate the front office, commonly called deposit-taking business. And I want to underscore that the deposit-taking business underscores the fact that they collect demand deposits, monies that, whether it's your salary or farmers' payments or business income, that you can withdraw at will. Now, the second phase now is those SACCOs that operate what you call back office deposits, where you save through your employer on a monthly basis, or as Sacco agrees, and then you are able to only access your savings through borrowing, and you can only withdraw them when you part ways with the Sacco. And therefore, we call them back office, but legally, it's called non-deposit taking business. Now, what is the impact of these regulations? One, I think this marks the continued growth and recognition by government that as we develop financial sector, we need diversity in terms of financial service providers, because Kenya is renowned globally in terms of Sacco development. Sure. And therefore, this is very critical, because these SACCOs now, by coming under prudential regulation, you are saying that we are adopting what you call best practices for deposit-taking SACCOs, where you are saying you take deposits from your members and turn them to loans. How do we measure the performance of that business? So what we bring in is what you call prudential standards, which means are you adequately capitalized? Are you monitoring the quality of loans? There are measures in terms of non-performing loans. What is your liquidity? And above all, the operational framework you put in terms of policy and technology systems must be able to aid in monitoring of that. Ultimately, government wants to collect this data because SACCOs contribute significantly in lending to households and their businesses. And this now cuts across the economy, whether it's agriculture, and small micro and small enterprises, employed people. And I could say that for long we have not captured that credit. And indeed, it goes to the economy. Now, by capturing this in the government, we are saying we have monitored, we have data for the other lenders in the market. Now, there is also these, SACCOs. Now, what is their contribution? Which sectors are they contributing? But most important now, from stability perspective of financial sector, you'll be able to say how sound is the Sacco industry. So far, we have reported one segment of the Sacco industry. Now we'll be reporting the next segment. And importantly is that we have also seen with the popularity of SACCOs, we have diaspora SACCOs, we have what we call digital SACCOs that recruit and lend, using technology platform and therefore virtually. And therefore, again, these regulations bring those SACCOs on board. Because the first category, it's about SACCOs with 100 million and above. But now, virtual SACCOs as well as diaspora SACCOs will also come on board. And this is significant in monitoring the risk that how are they managing the risk. Imagine you are trading you're in a virtual SACCO. You can't put face to who are in charge. All you want is a loan. So government should be able now to monitor. And the whole policy is that instead of saying, look, you need to have the traditional SACCO model where people meet here and they know each other. But virtually, yes, recruit members, but you must be accountable, and we must know that you are mobilizing savings and in turning them to loans for the members, not for any other purpose, because you know the story that has been there where people collect deposits and deploy them in their own private interest and not. So this is very important for members and depositors.
Great. Quite elaborate there on the importance of those regulations towards, of course, the operations of the Sacco and ultimately to the depositors and the investors. But I wish we'd have more time to discuss this, but perhaps the last question, which I would like you to handle just briefly, we have seen just 25 SACCOs among the numerous, SACCOs that we have in the country. Complying with this regulation, what do you think is the main challenge, briefly?
Thank you very much. I think the function we had some nearly weeks ago was essentially to launch the process of authorization of these SACCOs. It does not by any chance mean we have less, because the application we have received is close to 200 SACCOs applied from an estimated 250. And as we speak, we have 50 that are licensed in addition to the 25. So we have a window of 90 days within which to process them. And therefore, I would encourage Kenyans not to panic. Does not mean that your SACCO has been, has not been denied authorization. Rather, is a process. We have up to end of September to process, and therefore, it's a very rigorous process. And therefore, be patient. Your SACCO eventually will publish in the newspaper. We shall publish in the Kenya Gazette notice as a legal requirement to notify members that their SACCOs are, the fate of their SACCOs as far as the new regulatory framework is concerned. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. Many thanks. We have been speaking to Mr. Peter Njuguna, who is the CEO of Sacco Societies Regulatory Authority here in Kenya, a body that now seeks to govern the operations of SACCOs to your benefit. You, the investor, the depositor, and the person who is saving with SACCOs. We are due for a break. We'll be back with more. Don't go too far.